Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into this show today. Now, in today's episode, we're going to take a look at some predictions for the 2023 year in the world of credit and finance. Now, I put the word out in the community section. I asked a lot of you guys what your predictions or wishes were, so I thought we'd make this more interactive. I'd go through them, kind of agree, disagree with them, give my thoughts, as well as some of my own at the end. So, of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, chapters 2 will be down below. We'll just go prediction 1, 2, 3, like in that order. At the end, I'll put a final note in there of like, hey, what are, my predictions, right? But it's a little bit fun to do it this way. So here we go. Luke's Points in Miles, friend of the show. He says, prediction for 2023, RJ meets a nice young person that convinces him to use his YouTube powers for good. By that, I mean join team travel so we can take his sweetheart all over the world, Caribbean islands to Tokyo, Hotel International business class. I mean, that one got like 6 thumbs up. So apparently a lot of people are predicting that. I mean, there's a lot of time left in the year. I'd have to go outside. I'd have to talk to people. I don't know, man. I took the under on that one, but we'll see. There's not like a YouTube dating app, is there? I don't know. I'll try. I'll see what I can do. Be my pickup line. I'll walk in like, hey man, Luke's Points and Miles sent me, or I'll just open with it. Would you like to see the Caribbean? Probably does it. Michael Keaton here. Citi launches new Strata cards and adds AA as a transfer partner. Not sure if that's a prediction or me hoping it'll come true. I think we'll get one new Citi card. I don't know if the Strata Premier is going to be a rebrand of the current Premier or a new card altogether. Why go Premier than Strata Premier? So I'd agree with you on that. I mean, someone commented last time when we talked about Citi cards, like the timeline for like when we found the VentureX trademark versus when it launched, and it was like 6 months. So which puts a spring, April, anywhere from like April to June, I think is a really good time to launch a card, especially if it's targeted at travel. 100% agree with you on the AA thing. It makes no sense that they have the AA cards. Granted, they're not that amazing unless you want, Admirals Club access, but they should make them a transfer. They had them for a minute, but it was just like a promotional thing. I think they do need them. It doesn't make sense that they don't have them as a partner. Now, it's Citi, so, temper your expectations, because it's always like one thing amazing and then 2 steps back. But I agree with that one. All right, take care. Banks will continue to merge and we will have less options to choose from. I mean, kind of, sort of. So I think, yes, banks will continue to merge. But if you think about our options, we don't have a ton of options already. I mean, once you get past, Amex technically, we'll count Amex. So Amex, Chase, obviously 1A, depending on how you feel. Bank of America, kind of an option. Wells Fargo, we assume they will be an option again, right? How you define option is up to you. US Bank. After that, though, like the optionality really falls off. Optionality in terms of like competitiveness, and this is a card I would add as a keeper, right? We've talked about, Huntington Bank has a good one. PNC has a good card. Then you're talking about these rare finds, which is the reason we do videos looking at these random banks, right? So I agree with you on mergers, because mergers is like the easiest way for a bank to grow. I buy you, but I'm getting all your branches. I can switch out the signage, get people new uniforms. I get all your assets, all your loans. It's actually how Chase, one of the reasons Chase got so big, it's when they bought, Washington Mutual when they was failing to get out onto the West Coast, put up new signs. So yeah, I agree with you. I don't know that it affects optionality that much, honestly, in the card space. And I do think we'll still continue to see neo and fintech banks come up and try, but then they have like viability or sustainability issues in their own right. So I agree with that to an extent. I just think we don't always have as many options for keeper cards as we think. Doc says Amex will add more random credits to use on a monthly basis. For the charge cards, Chase will add new random co-branded cards to their lineup. Citi released the Strata cards and re-enter the travel segment. Bank of America and Wells Fargo TBD. I think we'll see a few more Wells Fargo cards. I think their timeline just got delayed. Bank of America, I don't expect to see anything from them. I mean, they don't care. I don't think they're the second largest bank. I think they're really good with what they have. They don't care. Chase, yeah, I mean, I predicted it last year. I think we'll see. We saw Instacart. I didn't predict Instacart, but I thought we'd get a Lyft card, but then Lyft had that partnership. No, Uber had the partnership with Capital One. I thought we'd see a Lyft card. I thought we'd see an Airbnb card. I also think there's a play for like something like a Twitch card, right? Because you've got Amazon. Amazon owns Twitch. Twitch is very popular. It's basically like the video game streaming thing of YouTube. I know YouTube's trying to compete with them, but cards like that, I think we're at a point where everyone's just going to get a card, and Chase does co-branded cards as well, so I wouldn't necessarily be mad at it. Would I be interested in them? No. But if you make them like the Instacart card, I don't want Instacart card, but it's still objectively a good card because it gives 5% back. So I'd be cool with that. I agree with that. I mean, those are still my predictions. Toro, I'd throw out there as well. Toro, like the car rental service, I think they could do that. Or I think someone like, I know Carvana's kind of like in trouble right now, but I could see someone like that doing these guys trying to get into cards as well at some point. And there's a lot of other companies out there helping you make cards these days. So yeah, I agree with that. Let me know what co-branded cards you want to see. Like, what would you be interested in? Amex will add more random credits. Yeah, I would agree with that because it's not that hard for them to do, right? Because Amex, they're marketing to it. They are, in the hands of a target demographic. These brands want to get into it as well, and we assume these brands take most of the cost. So, yeah, I think there'll be more coupons probably for the Platinum. I do think at some point they should probably give the gold card a coupon or two to help. I mean, I know the effective annual fee is like $10, but I think that would help a little bit more, honestly. So yeah, I would agree. Let me know if there's any coupons you want to see as well. What would be the prediction for what's the prediction for coupon that they'll add though? Because I mean, we're all over the place now. We got Walmart Plus, we got Equinox. I mean, what would be it? I mean, I could see them again partnering with someone. Turo's already with Venture X. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know the coupon you think they'd get. Maybe Village Wells Fargo will have a high-end travel card with high annual fee. Well, that's interesting because, I mean, Wells Fargo is known for, their free trifecta. So for them to come out into the high ground, I could see it. I think Wells Fargo's sweet spot will be challenging the Venture X, right? I mean, you have to do a lot to challenge a Sapphire or an Amex card, but Venture X you could do. I mean, they have the bankroll to do it. It's really more so, do they have the supporting cards around it, or will they put the thought into it, right? That's the biggest thing. The Venture X, I was high on the Venture X because how much of the thought went into it. I also think an outlier with Wells Fargo is how they continue to work with Bilt Rewards, right? Because I'm a fan of the Bilt Rewards card. I don't have it myself. I am a fan of it though. But is it going to be its own separate thing, or can I make it those points merge with this Wells Fargo trifecta that we assume is going to come? I think that would help them out a lot. I think they're better off going after the mid-tier travel game, but at some point, I do think everyone has a high-end travel card because why not? You can cross-sell to somebody. So I don't think you're wrong. I think we might be early on it because I don't think they've laid the foundation yet, but at some point, I would agree with that. All right, $50,000. My prediction is Amex will increase the annual fee of the Hilton Honors Aspire card to $695. Yeah, I mean, we've seen the Reddit rumors and stuff. I do think it makes sense. I don't know anything. I think it makes sense. Again, if you're at Hilton, you're looking out there, I'm like, dude, people have multiples of my cards. It's still arguably better than the other travel cards for hotels. And, Marriott's sitting here charging $650, Platinum $650, or $695. Delta cards, yes, it's an airline, but they're $550. It's something, I mean, it almost just seems like you should just do it because you're leaving money on the table. Now, I still think they have to offer you something else because people really don't respond well to $200 price hikes and you didn't give me anything. And I don't think Centurion Lounge is enough. So maybe we go back to Doc and say we're adding more credits. But I mean, again, we like that because of the night award. So maybe it's that, and then maybe they give you a dining credit or something with a good priority pass at least. They got to add something, but I don't think you're wrong. It's almost just so obvious to them now that they have the go ahead to do it because of the card market. All right, PM here. I predict that the day before I fall below 524, Chase will announce their new, more strict 424 rule. I mean, I hope not. I don't think they'll change it. I don't think they'll change it. But I would just, for you, I hope not. All right, Curmudgeon. Amex will increase annual fees on many of their cards. They'll add more useless coupons. And see, I've got the audience here that doesn't like Amex. So or I won't say doesn't like. I know we have some Amex fans, but I appreciate it. So, I think fees will increase. It just so it's tough, right? Because we're quote unquote going into a recession time, right? But part of this recession, I think, is being willed into existence by banks who just want there to be a recession so they can buy assets on the cheap. So, I mean, is it a good time to hike annual fees? I don't know. But at the same time, there's still a lot of money out there. So I do think their annual fees will go up because the pricing almost gets weird, right? Because you got what, 150 for the green, then you go up to 250, then you jump to 700 for the platinum. I would still guess they lose money on the gold card. I mean, this is not an original thought, but you know, I think we merge a few predictions here. I think we could add more credits to the gold, like Doc said, or he didn't say gold specifically, but add more credits. A few of you said that, and then they would increase the fee because that's what they do. And maybe that gives them room to introduce another card, which has long time been rumored. So yeah, I could see them doing that. Useless coupons. He says Amex users will clap like seals as they gleefully hand over more money in annual fees. Yeah, I can see that. So I don't disagree with that one either. I think it will happen. So all right, last one here. So Jeremy, his prediction is you'll meet a lovely lady. So he colluded with Luke on this one, who loves credit cards and bank accounts. You know what ladies don't love talking about? Credit cards. I'll tell you a story after I read your question. So stay outside longer than 2 minutes to meet her. Launch a new website filled with bank bonuses and credit card news that we can use. I see what you did there, and it will be great. So funny story. Because this video is probably already long. So I used to keep in my car armrest a bunch of a stack of gift cards to like the various chain restaurants, and like that's how I would pick if you're out with anyone. Here's how we're going to go to dinner. You can choose from any of these chain restaurants. Why? Because I could go to grocery stores or gas stations, wherever, and use my 5X categories to get these gift cards. And you know what people don't like, especially ladies? An armrest full of like Applebee's and Red Robin and B-Dubs gift cards, because that's where you could get 5% back, especially when you work in Ann Arbor and people would much rather go to like the hole-in-the-wall place. It is arguably better, but doesn't give me 5% back. But if you're out there, drop your comment down below. Make something happen. So yes, we website. How did you know? So we haven't formally announced it as far as a video, but there will be a profitablecontent.com blog. It will be linked down below for you. I put out a community post about it. I'll consider it a beta test. Then we'll make a full video about it. Of course, maybe I'll sponsor my own video, I guess. Doing that. But the idea is that, there'll be a lot of bonuses and news stories that we don't talk about and cover here. So can we put them over there and help people make money and stay informed all the time? So definitely go and check it out. Give me your thoughts on it. Of course, we're going to do a full video coming soon. So those are your predictions. Now, let's get to a few of mine. I mean, I agree with a lot of these. The one thing I was thinking about was was neobank and fintech banks, and how they kind of have an in that other people don't have. And it's kind of plays to the 524 question. A lot of these fintech neobanks are like X1 or someone like that. They're making cards with alternative forms of getting approved. We don't have to pull a credit score. We can use income. We can that. And we can also report to credit to help you build credit. But what if one of the companies took like the opposite approach and was like, hey, we actually won't report to credit unless you mess up and you go delinquent. Now, why would that be helpful? Because again, some of these cards aren't bad. Just like the question always comes up, is it worth a 524 slot? So if they don't report to credit, so you're not required to, in some cards, some banks don't even report to all the bureaus, so it's not necessarily required. Would that be a selling point to people? Like, hey, you know what, my credit's good. You can do a hard pull to approve me. I don't care about the alternative forms of payment, but I'll get your card if it keeps me under like 524 and doesn't count towards it. I think we can see people start to play around more with the alternative approval methods and start to use it to their advantage to attract some of the bonus hunters out there. In addition to that, I do think we'll see more co-branded cards like we talked about, because I think the next big play for everyone is, how do I get into this neobank world? I mean, we've seen Samsung and Apple and Google all do stuff like that. Everyone just wants to get into a spot where they can lend you money. So I think that's going to happen as well. And I think it's going to be, can I get a product for everyone? Because I don't think for the banks, I don't think it's really that hard to manage, another card. I've never stood up a card, but when you have a whole division already, I don't think it's that bad. Again, we've seen companies like Cardless come out and try to make cards for people as well. The other things, I think we'll see a shift. Airport lounges has been the main focus of these issuers, but I think we're at peak lounge status. We're seeing people pull back, and it makes the statuses like Hyatt look better, because you can't really buy Hyatt. Well, you can buy Hyatt status through spend on a card, but you can't just get a Hilton card, a Hyatt card, and like, bam, I have the highest status. So I think we'll see, unfortunately, we'll see folks who've given out too much and made all their money on selling status, like, Hilton comes to mind. or getting into Delta Sky Clubs and things like that. We'll see a pullback, right? They've made all their money selling these statuses. Now they're going to have to adjust. We've already seen Delta do it. Hey, we got to fix the overcrowding. We saw they didn't mess with Delta 360 and Elite customers, their top customers, but, basically that middle ground they did mess with. I think we're going to see a lot of that, unfortunately. But we've been trending that way anyways. I do think we're going to have to find out what the next frontier is beyond an airport lounge. I think I've talked about it before, but I think we're going to see a lot of, you go to not Staples Center, but like Crypto.com Arena, right? They have the Amex Centurion Suite. I think they have one in Barclays Arena as well. Amex had those pop-up restaurants before. Chase at one point was playing around with public Sapphire lounges in New York or something like that. I mean, that's going to have to be the next thing because, there's only so much you can do in the airport lounge, and even if you are a traveler and like the card, I don't think that impresses everyone. I think the goal is going to have to be to make the cards a part of your life all the time, and again, it won't be in like my city, right? Even though I'm close to Ann Arbor, that's not big enough, right? You're talking about the New Yorks, the Bostons, places like that, where they could, try to integrate, be more part of your life into the ecosystem, and kind of get away from just focusing on lounges all the time. So I think you're going to figure out that. We saw Bank of America do their premium elite card as a lifestyle card, but it's a pretty lazy attempt, honestly. And I think people are going to be looking more for like, what can I, what does it actually get me something to have this card, right? Whether it's like, the World Cup is coming over here, and Formula One is coming over here, right? And those are really hard tickets to get, concert tickets, you name it. Like, does my card actually get me something? Now, that comes at a price, unfortunately, but I think that's going to have to be the next frontier. And again, as far as cards, I still think Airbnb, Lyft, I think I said this, Toro, companies like that are primed to get their own version of credit cards to lock people into their ecosystem, because that's all we're really trying to do. So I think that's kind of, it's more so industry predictions than actual specific what I think an issuer is going to do. We know Wells Fargo is coming out with more cards. I do believe the city will come out with more cards, with at least one from these filings as well. And I say Capital One should probably figure out, I hope this is the year they figure out their customer service and their strategy as well. I think the Venture card needs a little bit of a facelift. And then I do think Amex will do a little bit more with cash back. They dabbled with it a little bit, refreshing the Blue Cash Everyday card, which is a good refresh. And they seem to be pushing bank accounts more. And I do think it's much easier to sell bank accounts to people with cash back cards than it is to, here's a bank account, and then you also need this $700 card. That's a tough cross-sell. When we go into a branch, this is why it's much easier for, even though we didn't like the card, Wells Fargo to have the active cash. I can sit you down, open your deposit account, like, hey, here's a no annual fee 2% card with another $200 for your time. That's a much easier sell. Granted, yes, Amex doesn't have branches, but still, I think if they're going to go that route to push deposit accounts, I think they're going to have to start looking at more cash back. I would like to go so far as to say they'll make their points currency one united currency. I don't think that'll happen. I want to see it happen, but yeah, I don't think that will happen, unfortunately. So overall, I think those are pretty much, it for predictions. I'm glad you guys shared yours. We'll keep an eye on it. If this video ends up in a year from now being wrong, then I'll just blame all of you, right? It wasn't my fault. I was just, but I'm the voice of the people, right? That'll probably hold up, I'm sure. I'm kidding. We can put it all up on me. It's just for fun anyways. And of course, I guess we'll keep you posted on the lady thing too and going outside. Maybe I should start a blog channel just to see how it goes. I don't know. Let me know if you want that down below. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for our 2023 predictions. Of course, we will keep track of this and see how it goes. If you like this one, drop me a thumbs up down below. Find it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, posting content just like this every week and right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. Again, sound off down below if you were late to the party. Add in your predictions or what you'd like to see, or add in, some that you've, seen others. Love to get your thoughts in the conversation going. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.